Every civilization in the galaxy agreed on one simple law: technology evolved slowly. No empire, no species, no genius could skip centuries of scientific progress. Until an unknown warship appeared in deep space. It wasn't listed in any registry. It wasn't broadcasting any known language. And according to every scan, it possessed technology that shouldn't exist for another 300 years. Entire fleets vanished trying to capture it. But when humanity finally uncovered the truth, they realized the ship wasn't built ahead of its time. It had come from a future that no longer existed. Space had always rewarded patience. Across the Orion frontier, civilizations expanded slowly, carefully balancing scientific discovery against the harsh realities of survival. Every breakthrough followed predictable patterns. Fusion before antimatter. Antimatter before singularity drives. Singularity drives before quantum folding. The order had remained unchanged for nearly 12,000 years. The galactic concord considered it almost sacred. No civilization had ever broken the sequence. Until listening station Kappa 9 received a signal. At first, the operators assumed it was sensor interference. The object appeared impossible. No transponder, no warp signature, no hyperspace wake. Nothing. It simply appeared, one moment, empty space. The next, a warship. Commander Celine Ortiz stared silently at the holographic display. The vessel drifted without visible propulsion. No engine glow, no maneuvering thrusters, no radiation. Its surface reflected almost no light. Not because it was black. Because light seemed unwilling to touch it. The station's artificial intelligence attempted identification. Unknown. Threat analysis. Unknown. Power source. Unknown. Estimated technology level. Processing. Error. Commander Ortiz frowned. Run it again. The AI complied. Processing. Estimated technological advancement. 317 years beyond current galactic standards. Silence filled the command deck. Someone laughed nervously. It has to be corrupted data. The AI answered immediately. Confidence level, 99.8%. No one laughed again. Across the galactic concord, emergency channels erupted. Scientists argued. Military analysts demanded immediate action. Politicians insisted the readings were fake, but every telescope, every quantum observatory, every sensor array reported the same impossible result. The ship was real, and it was older and newer than anything ever built. Within 48 hours, the Concorde dispatched the 7th Expeditionary Fleet. 46 capital ships, hundreds of escorts, enough firepower to conquer an entire sector. Their orders were simple. Approach peacefully. If possible, capture the vessel. Grand Admiral Kor watched the strange craft from the bridge of his flagship. It looked ordinary, only 600 meters long, smaller than most cruisers. Smooth hull, no visible weapons, no windows, no insignia. Almost unfinished, open communications. Nothing, hail again. Silence, launch probes. 20 reconnaissance drones accelerated toward the ship. At exactly 50 kilometers away, every drone disappeared. No explosion, no debris, no radiation. They simply ceased existing. The fleet froze. No known weapon could erase matter so completely. Admiral Kor narrowed his eyes, scanned the surrounding space. The answer chilled everyone. There was no energy discharge. Impossible, confirmed. Far inside the mysterious vessel, someone finally looked up. A lone woman sat surrounded by holographic stars. Her uniform carried no recognizable insignia. Her hair had turned silver decades earlier. She looked exhausted, not physically. Emotionally, an AI spoke softly. External civilization attempting contact. She sighed. What year? The AI answered. Galactic calendar 9824. She closed her eyes. We're earlier than expected. A long silence followed. Finally she whispered, so history really broke. Back outside, the Concorde fleet tried another approach. A shuttle. Unarmed. Broadcasting diplomatic credentials. It slowly drifted toward the unknown ship. 30 kilometers. 20, 10, 5, nothing happened. The shuttle docked. The hatch opened. Lieutenant Varick stepped inside. His helmet camera transmitted every second. Dark corridors, silent lighting, air composition, perfectly breathable. Gravity, identical to Concorde standards. Someone had designed this vessel for humanoids. He continued forward. Every corridor looked untouched, not abandoned. Maintained, almost waiting, then he reached the bridge. The camera froze. Millions across the galaxy watched live. One chair, one person, an elderly woman. She slowly looked toward him. Then smiled, not warmly. Sadly, as expected, she said. You came too soon. The transmission cut instantly. The shuttle vanished. Not exploded. Vanished, along with every recording after those final words. Only one frame remained, the woman's face. Within hours, every government began searching their population databases. The results made no sense. No match. Not anywhere. Until a graduate student on Earth discovered something impossible. The woman wasn't alive. Yet, her face matched a 7-year-old girl living in Buenos Aires. Name, Elena Ortiz. Birth year, 1821, 3 years old. Commander Celine Ortiz stared at the report. Her hands began shaking. Elena was her daughter. Every military in the galaxy immediately changed priorities. This was no alien vessel, no experimental prototype, no secret weapon. It belonged to humanity. But humanity had never built anything remotely close to it, not yet, which left only one explanation. The impossible warship had traveled through time, and somehow its captain was Commander Ortiz's own daughter. From more than 3 centuries in humanity's future. Unfortunately, the arrival of the ship had already triggered something far worse. Across intergalactic space, ancient sensors awakened, automated beacons that had remained silent for millions of years. They transmitted one simple message. Temporal contamination detected. Guardian protocol activated. Extermination begins. No one aboard listening station Kappa 9 spoke for nearly a minute. The command deck, normally filled with reports and tactical chatter, had fallen into complete silence. Every pair of eyes remained fixed on the holographic image floating above the central table. An elderly woman. Silver hair. Calm eyes. A face that belonged to someone who, according to every official record, hadn't even learned to read yet. Commander Celine Ortiz stared at the image until her vision blurred. Her daughter, Elena, was only 3 years old. She was back on Earth, asleep in her apartment, surrounded by stuffed animals and children's books. Yet somehow, that same face had looked directly into Lieutenant Varick's helmet camera and spoken with the quiet certainty of someone carrying centuries of memories. You came too soon. Those 4 words echoed through every military headquarters in the galaxy. Within hours, the Galactic Concorde convened an emergency session. Representatives from more than 100 civilizations crowded the circular chamber. Some demanded that the mysterious vessel be destroyed immediately. Others insisted it was the greatest scientific discovery in recorded history. Several argued that merely allowing it to exist threatened causality itself. The debate lasted less than 10 minutes. Then, the chamber doors opened. A human delegation entered. Leading them was Admiral Nathan Hale, commander of humanity's Deep Space Fleet. He didn't ask permission to speak. He simply walked to the center of the chamber. If that woman truly is a future human, he said, then this is humanity's responsibility. A reptilian delegate rose instantly. Your species cannot be trusted with technology 3 centuries beyond our own, another representative added. Perhaps she is not even human anymore. Admiral Hale didn't flinch. Maybe, he paused. But if she's carrying humanity's future, then we're the only ones who might convince her to talk. The chamber reluctantly agreed. Humanity would make the next attempt. 2 days later, the exploration cruiser Resolute approached the impossible warship. Unlike the Concorde fleet before it, the Resolute came alone. No weapons charged, no fighters launched, No hidden attack formations, only a single message repeated across every communication frequency. This is Captain Daniel Mercer of the United Earth Fleet. We are not here to capture you. If you are human, you're home. Nothing happened. The dark vessel drifted silently. Captain Mercer waited. 5 minutes. 10, 20, his bridge officers exchanged nervous glances. Then every monitor aboard the Resolute flickered. The stars disappeared. Instead, a woman appeared on every screen. Older than before. Tired, but unmistakably the same person. Captain Daniel Mercer. Mercer frowned. I don't believe we've met. The woman smiled faintly. No, but your grandson will save my life. The bridge fell silent. Mercer felt a chill run through him. My grandson, you won't meet him for another 40 years. She looked away for a moment, as if remembering something painful. He dies doing it. Mercer took a slow breath. If you're really Elena Ortiz, prove it. She nodded. Your father hid your childhood telescope beneath the floorboards after you broke it. Mercer's expression changed instantly. No one knew that. Not even military intelligence. She continued. You still blame yourself for your sister's shuttle accident. You weren't responsible. You never were. Mercer swallowed hard. The bridge crew watched their captain's confidence crumble into stunned disbelief. Only family could know those things. Back on Earth, Commander Celine Ortiz watched the live transmission from a secure command bunker. Every sentence felt impossible. Every answer raised more questions than it solved. Finally, Mercer asked the one question everyone feared. What happened to your timeline? For the first time, Elena hesitated. She looked exhausted, older than her years. Not physically. Emotionally, when she finally answered, her voice barely rose above a whisper. We lost. No one interrupted. The stars behind her slowly rotated across the viewing screen. There was a war. Not between species, not between empires. She closed her eyes. It was a war against extinction itself. Mercer leaned forward. Who attacked? Her answer came immediately. They aren't attacking yet. The bridge exchanged confused looks. What do you mean? They won't exist for another 294 years. Silence. The enemy you're searching for hasn't been born. Thousands of analysts replayed those words within minutes. Military computers generated millions of simulations. Every prediction reached the same conclusion. If Elena was telling the truth, then history itself had become unstable. Because the future now remembered a war that the present had not yet fought. Mercer steadied himself. Why come back? She stared directly into the camera. Because we only won once. You mean, she nodded, out of 14 million simulations. The number sent murmurs through every command center monitoring the transmission. Every other future ends with humanity erased. Mercer frowned. So this timeline is different? It already is. She looked toward an unseen window aboard her ship. My arrival changed everything. Suddenly, warning alarms erupted aboard the Resolute. Captain, massive gravitational disturbance. Space itself twisted. Stars stretched into impossible lines. A glowing fracture opened several thousand kilometers away. It wasn't hyperspace. It wasn't a wormhole. It looked as though reality itself had cracked open. Something enormous emerged. Not a ship. A machine. Nearly 20 kilometers long. Covered in geometric structures that defied perspective. Sensors couldn't determine where it began or where it ended. Every scan contradicted the last. Lieutenant Harris whispered, "What? Is that?" Elena answered before anyone else could. They found me. The impossible construct emitted no radio signals, no engine signatures, no visible weapons. Instead, every AI aboard every nearby vessel shut down simultaneously. Navigation failed. Weapons went offline. Life support briefly flickered. Only the ancient warship remained unaffected. Its systems continued operating as though nothing had happened. Elena sighed. I hoped we'd have more time. Captain Mercer shouted, "Can you destroy it?" She looked at him with genuine sadness. No, you can't. I won't. Mercer blinked. Why? Because in your history, this machine must survive. Without warning, the colossal construct turned toward Earth. Every sensor confirmed its trajectory. Estimated arrival, 48 hours. Planetary defenses immediately entered maximum alert. Across humanity's colonies, evacuation orders began. Children were rushed into shelters. Orbital shipyards accelerated unfinished warships. Factories shifted entirely to military production. For the first time in centuries, humanity prepared for total war. Commander Ortiz never looked away from the screen. She watched the older version of her daughter standing alone aboard the impossible vessel. Then, Elena spoke one final sentence before ending the transmission. When I left my future, Earth had already fallen. The screen went black. Across the galaxy, panic spread faster than light. If Earth was destined to fall, then every decision made over the next 2 days would decide whether that future remained inevitable or became a future that never happened. And aboard the impossible warship, Captain Elena Ortiz finally gave her first order. Wake the ship. For the first time since it had appeared, the silent vessel came alive. Its dark hull shimmered. Ancient symbols ignited beneath the surface. The surrounding stars bent ever so slightly toward it. Then, every sensor in the galaxy reported the same impossible reading. The warship had been operating at only 0.007% of its total power. And now, it was beginning to wake. As humanity races to defend Earth, Elena reveals the true capabilities of the mysterious warship, and why even at full power, it was never built to win a war, but to preserve the last surviving timeline.